Om Agyantamidandasya Gnangana Shilakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasma Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Naro Vishtam Shvapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Svapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kartamashi, my little clothes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm so much enjoying my visit here to the lotus feet, at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, in the association of so many wonderful devotees. So I thought this morning I would speak on the importance of associating with devotees, sadhu sangha. This association, this is sangha, means association. Birds of a feather flock together. You see the crows and you see the swans. So this morning people are congregating for different sporting events and different parties and so forth and so on. But this is like Paramahamsa. This is the best type of association. Swan-like persons who know the essence of life, the purpose of life. Atato Brahma Jignasya, to become Krishna conscious. So we know by Prabhupada's grace how to live in this world, like the swan. The swan has this peculiar ability that if you pour milk into the water, the swan can drink the milk without getting the water. It's almost mystical, or at least it's amazing how Krishna created this world. I've actually, when I first heard it as a new devotee, I said, really? A swan can drink, if you pour milk in the lake, the swan can drink the milk and not the water? No, I was a new devotee, so. So I went to a lake in San Francisco, and I poured some milk, because there are lots of lakes, it's a famous lake there. It's called Swan Lake. So I poured the milk into the water, and the swans came. Lo and behold, they would drink from there, and the water would come out of their nostrils. They were sucking the water, but they were getting the milk, but the water was, by nature's arrangement, the water was coming out of their little, on their beak, they have two little nostrils. I said, it's true. The Vedic knowledge is true. I'm never going to doubt it again. By the mercy of the swan. So all of you are swan-like personalities. You live in this world and there are so many things that you can achieve. Name, fame, glory, money, honey. Money is the honey. Money is the honey. It's so sweet. It can't be beat. That's their mantra, unauthorized mantra. You won't find it in Rig Veda. They're thinking like that, but we know we take only what is necessary. We can take, we have to maintain the body, we have to maintain our family, we have our society, we have our world. We want to leave it in a good condition for our grandchildren. So we take what is necessary, but not an iota more. If the whole world lived like this, there would be no poverty, no one would be in need, because the Supreme Lord has created things in such a way that, The ant gets his 1 grain of sugar and the elephant gets his 1 ton of hay. It's just nature's arrangement. But because of greed, human beings with uncontrolled senses take more than they need. So the motto should be, simple living with high thinking. Or in material society they say, take according to your need, not according to your greed. Then there'd be no environmental problems, no warming up of the climate, etc. It's very simple. We have the solutions to all problems in this world. If only people would listen. It's not easy. This is the preacher's dilemma. He's on the street distributing books, and 1 out of 25 people take a book. I did book distribution many, many years, and I sat down and made a calculation one day. 1 out of 25 people stop. What if the whole world stopped and listened to us? Oh, happy day. That would be a happy day. So the association with devotees is so important because by associating with devotees, we take on the qualities of the devotees. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote that devotional service is something that you imbibe. I don't know what the Hindi or what are the local languages. It's something you imbibe from other devotees. Like COVID. That's a bad word. How did we get COVID? By Sangha. Asat Sangha. Unwanted association. We got COVID. So Krishna consciousness is a little mystical, actually. That we get Krishna consciousness by sitting here in a group of devotees. Shravanam, Kirtanam brings Krishna Smaranam. Just by sitting together and relishing these higher topics of Krishna consciousness, we imbibe devotional service. It's really, you can't underestimate the potency of association with devotees. It's almost like transcendentally automatic. Like when I was young, in America you could order, like from South America, it was kind of strange, you could order all these creatures. It was for a few years, like lizards and bugs and spiders and snakes. My mom hated it, but I loved it. I'd take money from my father's wallet or my mother's purse, and I'd write it and put it in an envelope and send it away, and 3 weeks later a snake would arrive in the mail. Addressed to me. My mother would just, what, another snake? Or spiders, just boys will be boys. Frogs and snails and puppy dog tails, they say in English. And girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. It's a phrase we have in America. So boys, they like these kind of things. So I used to get these lizards. They were called chameleon lizards. And this chameleon lizard, by nature's way, as a form of protection from predators, wherever the lizard is sitting on a leaf or a branch or the ground, his skin turns that color. And I read about it when I was like 9 years old. I said, no. Again, I was doubting, but I just always had a curious mind. I said, you have to prove it to me. So I ordered one of these lizards. I took him out of the box. He was looking at me like, ooh, what are you going to do with me? And I put him on a green leaf. Boom! Within a few moments, his skin turned a green shade. I picked him up, and he looked at me again. I put him on a brown branch, and his skin turned brown. And I had a red piece of paper. This was the final. Put him on the red piece of paper. By nature's way, to protect him so he could hide from predators, his skin turned red. And I picked him up, and he smiled at me. See? I'm just kidding. But it isn't a little mystical. It's a wonder. One time Prabhupada said, the material creation is mystical. How it's working, how it's going on. Still we don't know so many things. We don't know how blood is transformed into milk from the udder of the cow or breast of your mother. Scientists don't know how blood turns into milk. They don't know so many things. They're so proud of what they know and they're the big authorities, but they know very little. But we know that by association with devotees, we become Krishna conscious. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has listed association with devotees as one of the most important items in making progress. Actually, he lists 64, essential items of devotional service that we should follow, but because life is short and then you die, he stressed 5. We want to get out of the slow lane into the fast lane, isn't it? We're going on. I've been a devotee some weeks, some months, some years, some decades. I'm still not crying, which is the goal. Love of Radhe Shyam. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years and more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. Krishna, I'm feeling your separation. When I haven't come to that stage. But we have to come to that stage in order to go back home, back to Godhead. So Mahaprabhu lists, or it is listed 64 items of devotional service in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Mahaprabhu, he lists 5. Get in the fast lane. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavata Shravana, Mathura Vasa, Shri Mutira, Shradaya Shivana. One should associate with devotees. One should chant the holy names of the Lord. One should hear the king of all scriptures, Grantha Raj. Grantha means scripture, Raj, because it deals only with Amhal Bhakti, pure devotion. One should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. One should reside or visit Mathura or Vrindavan. And, number 5, one should worship the deity with faith and veneration. There you have it. That's the prescription for the disease of material life, to get cured. You could go to the doctor and he gives you a prescription, 2 pills a day for 3 weeks. You don't really know medicine, you're a layman, you don't know how it's working, but you have faith in the doctor, because up on the wall it says he graduated from such and such a university with distinction, with honors. So you take it. So we take this medicine because we have faith in Gauranga and Guru. Guru Gauranga. I asked Tamal Krishna Goswami, my very dear departed godbrother, what's the most important quality of a disciple? What's the most important quality of a disciple? So he kind of closed his eyes and then he said, the most important quality for a disciple is Guru Nishta, faith in the spiritual master. The spiritual master is Krishna's representative. Krishna came and went, but the representatives remain on this earth like ambassadors from the spiritual world. So what they say is absolute truth, and our minds may, challenge sometimes and wonder, and so, but no, Guru Nishta. We have faith that whatever our spiritual teachers are telling us, whatever Shastra is telling you, we have faith like that. So have faith. Sadhu Sangha Nam Kirtan Bhagavat Shravana Mathura Vasha Shri Mutira Shradaya Sevana. Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you know him, great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. He hinted that chanting the holy names and associating with devotees are 2 essential ingredients of becoming Krishna conscious in the age of Kali. Shamshara Sharpa Dushtanam Murchitanam Kolo Yuge Ashadam Bhagavan Nama Shurimad Vaishnava Shevanam. I love this verse. I often quote it. In this age of quarrel, the remedy for those fallen souls who have been bitten by the serpent of samsara is the name of the Supreme Lord and menial service to exalted Vaishnavas. In this age of quarrel, the remedy for those fallen souls who have been bitten by the serpent of samsara, repetition of birth and death. What's the remedy for that disease? The name of Krishna and service to the Vaishnava. Combination. Just like we have, I don't know if you're studying this, but chemicals. There's nitrogen and glycerin. They're both potent chemicals. But you put them together, nitroglycerin, boom! Right? Nitroglycerin, it's known, it's you put the compound together, you shake it, boom! Everything goes up in smoke. So nitrogen and glycerin. So the chanting of the holy names and service to the Vaishnavas, you get Hare Krishna explosion. And that's not the kind of explosion that destroys everything. It's the explosion that just propels everyone back to the spiritual world. So according to Shastra, just how important is this sadhu sangha, association with devotees, and becoming Krishna conscious? Well, the sages in Naimisharanya, they said to Sutta Goswami, Tulya yama lave napi nasvargam napunar bhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim dashisha. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation, moksha, from matter. What to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. Whoa, that's a strong verse. Then Sutta replies to them, Shushusho Shrudananasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. Oh, twice-born sages, by serving those who are completely free from vice, a great service is done. By such service, one gains an affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. You come into the association of devotees, and what do they do? It's all Krishna, 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 Krishna. Hey! It's all that. And then you kind of, you start going Krishna, 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 hey. It's catchy. The Maha Mantra is very catchy. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare. Oh, twice-born sages, by serving those who are freed from vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains an affinity for hearing these subject matters. You're not getting restless. You're not going away. Even this young boy, he's listening. It's so attractive. Why? Because it's non-different than the Lord himself. And Krishna's all attractive. So power, this is very powerful. We're sitting here and what's happening? There's a transformation, there's a cleansing. Cheto, dharpanam, marjanam, perhaps some, person who can paint or draw, he could draw in such a way that as we're speaking, he would draw that from your heart is washing out lust, anger, and greed, and it's just going out the temple into the sewer. That's where it belongs. Lust, anger, and greed. That's what's happening. It's not a figurative thing. It's actually happening. As you're sitting and listening according to the quality of your listening, these things are going away. So you're in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. You could be anywhere in Hyderabad. You had so many choices, but you came here, and in the association of devotees, we're creating a river into the sewer of all our back. Bye-bye, don't come back. See, I'm not going to even see you later. Go away, stay away. Lust, anger, and greed. Otherwise, how do you get rid? You can wash the body with soap, but how do you wash your heart? You can't swallow a bar of soap. When I was a young boy, sometimes I was naughty. My father would say, if you say that again, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap. I won't say it again, Daddy. So how do you wash the heart? Shabda Brahma. Through transcendental sound. It works, transcendental sound. The other day, I mentioned, I came with Prabhupada here to Hyderabad for the opening of the temple. What year was that? 76. Okay, 76. We took a train, 10 or 15 of us, for the installation of Radha Madan Mohan. I'm part of your family. I was here from the beginning. And the day before, we went to a village outside somewhere, I think where the farm is. There were some villages, and the villagers came to see Prabhupada. I was like, what? We won this long train ride, it's so hot, I'm so tired, I'm hungry. Prabhupada said, let's preach. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. So we drove out to the farm, and there was a tree. And the villagers, there weren't many, maybe 25, 30 villagers there. They came, and Prabhupada spoke to them. He was so kind. And I remember one Mataji, elderly lady, she was kind of heavy set. She said, Swamiji, I have a question. Prabhupada said, yes. It was all being translated for me, let it speak. And she said, Swamiji, why did Ram come to this earth? What was the purpose of this incarnation? It's all coming back, I don't know, the feathers. Ram, why did Ram come to this earth? Then Prabhupada said something I'll never forget. He said, what was the purpose of Ram's incarnation? He said, to teach us the difficulties in accepting a wife. They're laughing harder than you men. He said that. He smiled, from Ramayana there's so many answers you could give. Pariturnaya sadhanam vinashaya duskritam ravara. He said, no, Ram came to this earth to show how difficult it is to have a wife. That's all I remember from the lecture. Because during the lecture I fell asleep. Because it was so hot. I was only 19 or 20, and we'd been traveling and I had nothing to eat. It was so hot. So suddenly I heard, Indradyumna, why are you sleeping when I'm speaking? And I woke up and Prabhupada was looking at me. Why are you sleeping? I don't speak Hindi. He said, it does not matter. This is Shabda Brahma. This is transcendental sound. It will act, it will purify your heart. Stay awake, young man. Yes, Prabhupada? I never slept again in a class the rest of the last 53 years. So Shabda Brahma, what do we do when we come together? The Gita says when we come together, this is what we do. We speak of Krishna. And we have unlimited pastimes of Krishna, tattva, rasa. We have many of, we have the philosophy, we have Krishna's pastimes. We can go on and on and on and on without any problem. So Mahaprabhu, he says, Sadhusanga savashastu koi lavamatta sadhusanga savasiddhi hoy. The verdict of all revealed scriptures is that even a moment's association with the devotee, one can attain success. And how many moments are we here? This morning we're here for so many moments, so when you leave this hall, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be changed. This is the purpose of religion. It's meant to cleanse the heart and awaken love of God. When you go into a church, when you go into a mosque, you go into a Buddhist thing, or you go to a Jewish synagogue, you go to a temple here in India, you should go into the house of God for purification and awakening of God. You should come out a different person. You just don't go for some social reason to see your friends, have something to eat, no. This is serious business. We're serious business. Any moment of life can never be gained back for all the gold in the world. So we come here for purification and bhakti. And Rupa Goswami, he further says that in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that even a small attachment for any one of these 5 activities can arouse devotional ecstasy in a neophyte. What? Hearing Bhagavatam, worshipping the deity, associating with devotees, chanting Hare Krishna. Any of these 5, he says, in a neophyte devotee, by practice, just one of those things, you can bring ecstasy. You can experience ecstasy. Wow. So they're all very important, but I sometimes wonder what's the most essential. You know, the inquisitive mind, always questioning. They're all essential. It's like Jiva Goswami, when describing the different dhams, the places of the Lord, like Dwarka, Mathura, Vrindavan, he describes them as Dwarka's perfect. There Krishna is the king, and the relationship is Aishvarya Bhav, master and servant. It's perfect. All the residents of Dwarka are perfect, are Nitya Siddhas. But then he says Mathura is more perfect. Because there, the women of Mathura, they have an amorous attraction for Krishna. It's a little more intimate than master-servant. But then he says Vrindavan is most perfect because of the pure love of the gopis for Krishna. Their loving nature for Krishna is very deep. So he says perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. I love it. It's a nice description. The different mellows. Krishna has created all these relationships because he likes it that way. Variety is the spice of life. But according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the best of the best is the mood of the Brajabasis, their pure love for. And generally it's understood that the followers of Lord Chaitanya are aspiring for that relationship of Gopi Bhav. Although some of Mahaprabhu's associates, they were in the mood of Aishvarya Bhav, worshipping the Lord as the master. It's all part of Krishna's plan. So the reason I explained that was because we have these 5 different practices of devotional service. So, yes, of course, Nama Kirtan is, we know it's the Yuga Dharma. Every age has a particular process for self-realization. Just like every season, you wear a different set of clothes, right? If it's summer, you just wear I see the lungis or the gumshas down this part of India. But when it's cold here, you put on a sweater. So according to the season, you change your clothes. So according to the age, Satya, Treta, Dapura, and Kali, there's different processes of self-realization because people aren't the same in every age. But the purpose of life is the same. So in Treta Yuga, Om. Satya Yuga, Om. Treta Yuga, Svaha. And then Dapura Yuga, you go to the temple, oh my Lord. And then Kali Yuga. But I'd like to point out how important is the association of devotees, because without the association of devotees, it would be very hard to perfect the chanting. What if you had to sit in some forest all alone and chant? It'd be difficult. But in the association of devotees, it becomes easy and becomes joyful. Therefore, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Shangopanga Shaparshadam Yagnai Sankirtan Prayar Yashantihi Shumedasha. Krishna comes in this age disguised as a devotee. He introduces congregational chanting of the holy names. We come together and we appeal to the Lord. This is a very powerful process. So you can see that just maybe association with devotees is the most essential. Because even, let us say, to perfect that chanting, we have to get that chanting through diksha, through initiation, to perfect it. Shastra says that just if an ignorant person just hears the kirtan on the street, there's some benefit. Some karmic reactions are destroyed in the heart, the material desires are loosened. That's how beneficial the holy name is. It's so powerful. When Mahaprabhu inquired from Haridas Thakur, okay, what about all the immovable living entities like plants and trees and bushes? How will they be delivered? So Haridas Thakur, he pointed out how powerful this holy name is. He said, Mahaprabhu, those immovable trees and bushes and plants, they can also be delivered by the loud chanting of the holy names. Whatever bugs were in this room, they're delivered. In referring to Islamic language, Chaitanya Charitamrita says that, gives the analogy that there was a hunter, Muslim hunter, and he was hunting, and the boar, a wild boar attacked him. And in the Islamic language, if you say, oh, how horrible, it's harama. Haram, haram, how horrible. But Shastra says that even then, unconscious chanting of the holy name means you don't understand the true value of the holy name. You don't even know it's the holy name if you say the syllable. Still it's purifying. Haram, harama. Hey, you're lucky, buddy. It's so powerful. Like in Europe, there's a department store. I used to distribute books outside. It was my favorite place because of the name of the department store. It was called Kamfo Rama. So there we have the word Rama. So people just say, I'm going to the Kamfo Rama. The holy name is so merciful that they pronounce it even in ignorance. Still there's some benefit. Still. Just see how merciful is the holy name. So if, when I meet people, would you like to take a book? No. Would you like a little simply one? No. Okay, what's the name of the store you're going to? Kamfo Rama. Thank you very much. I'd get them to say the holy name. We have to understand how fortunate we are. Like a little child doesn't understand the priceless ring of her mother. Only when she matures and grows up does she see such a ring and appreciate it. So we're all infants, actually, in spiritual life. Where, of course, Confucius said the longest journey begins with the first step, but let us be real. We have this holy name. We have yet to fathom what really is dancing on the tip of our tongue. So we have to speak about it more and more. But if you get that holy name through Diksha, then it takes on a different quality. You can only get prema, you can only get love of God through chanting if you receive or you're initiated into the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. That's why we stress initiation. Because if you get initiated, then you're blessed with the possibility of getting prema by that chanting. And how do you perfect chanting? By the mercy of a devotee. That's my point. Perhaps most essential in all these 5 methods is association with devotees. Because even for the Yuga Dharma, you have to get initiated into the chanting to achieve perfection. It's through devotees that people get the mercy of the Maha Mantra. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has written, Tilaka Vimala Mala Namo Yukta Pavitraha Hari Hari Kala Madhye Hari Hari Kali Madhye Evam Evam Babhavuva. From the moment that the holy name of Hari appeared on this earth, Vaishnavas became manifest everywhere, adorned with faultless tilak and neck beads, and equipped with the Maha Mantra. In the midst of the age of Kali, they purified the atmosphere, chanting Hari Hari. Hari, Hari. Indeed, it came to pass. Such a verse. Shall I recite it again? Yes. From the moment that the holy name of Hari appeared on the earth, Vaishnavas became manifest everywhere, adorned with faultless tilak and neck beads, and equipped with the Maha Mantra. In the midst of the age of Kali, they purified the atmosphere, chanting Hari Hari. So indeed it came to pass. Now he's Wrote that 500 years ago. And he's talking about Vaishnavas appearing everywhere, in New York, Sydney, Moscow, Buenos Aires. He said everywhere, adorned with tilak and neck beads, chanting the mantra. Therefore, the age of Kali became purified by the devotees sharing the holy names with the people. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So again, association is so essential. As far as Bhagavat Shravana, hearing the Bhagavatam, but we know that, we have to hear the Bhagavatam from a devotee, not a non-devotee reciter. And it so happens so often you have these Bhagavat, what do you call saptas? Yeah, someone speaks Bhagavatam for 7 days. But at the Kumbh Mela, it was at one Kumbh Mela, there was Mayavad, big Mayavad sannyasi. And he was speaking every day from Srimad Bhagavatam in his tent. Thousands and thousands of people were sitting there. And he was speaking Bhagavatam. I said, wow, how's a Mayavadi speaking Bhagavatam? And I went one day just to hear. And he's speaking about Krishna. He's so adorable. He's so amazing. He's so wonderful. He plays vamsi, plays flute. He's the darling of Jashoda. And he's the supreme mystic. Even when he was baby, he was killing Agasura, Putana, Tuniva. I said, wow, this is a Mayavadi? He's speaking so nicely from the Bhagavatam about Krishna. But then, at the end he said, and my dear people, you are all that Krishna. And I feel that somebody had injected me with some heroin or some poison or something. So like that, we have to hear the Bhagavatam from a devotee of the Lord. Because only a devotee has received the mercy of the Lord and can share that mercy with others. So, Swarup Damodar said one time, Yaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavarashtane. If you want to understand Krishna, you must approach a self-realized Vaishnava and hear from him. Then what's next? Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravana, Mathur Vasha. You have to live in a holy place. Many people have misconceptions of holy places. There's a saying, Bhoma Ijjadi Yat Tirtha Bhuti Shali. A person living in Calcutta where the Ganges flows thinks he has to go to Haridwar in order to take bath in the Ganges and get purified. He lives in Calcutta, it's the same river. It never gets contaminated. It may appear to our external vision to have contaminated, but it's Gangama. Like the holy name never gets contaminated when it comes to this world. Kali Kali Nam Murup, Krishna Avatar doesn't get contaminated, so Ganges. You can get the same purification by bathing in Ganges in Calcutta. But the real benefit of a holy place, we know, if we want to go to a holy place, is to hear from the Vaishnavas who live there. You don't go as tourists. Yes, click, 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 click. I went to Vrindavan, look, you see? No, we go to a holy place to hear from the holy people who live there. They can reveal what is the Dham. We say spiritual master is the revealer of the Dham. Like one time, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was taking his devotees, 10,000. Radhanath Swami takes 6,000. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati used to take 10 or 20, 25, 30,000 Vaishnavas on Parikrama. Maybe one day Radhanath Swami will do that. I'm sure he will. But in the evening he would give darshan. So just before the darshan, one of his sannyasis mentioned to the crowd that Guru Maharaj is going to give class now, but I wanted to mention that there's a special deity where we are today. It's the Adikeshav deity. That deity will be open this evening, so you can also go and see the deity. So a few of the brahmacharis stood up to go see the deity. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati started his lecture, speaking about Krishna, about Keshava. So they came back halfway through the lecture. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he stopped the lecture and he said, "So, where have you been?" "Oh, Guru Maharaj, we went to see Krishna." He said, "No, you didn't see Krishna. You only saw stone. If you want to see Krishna, you hear from me. By hearing from me, you understand who is Krishna and have the eyes to see Krishna. So sit down and listen to me." This is how we see the Dham. It is said that a saintly person, he sees with his ears, not through his eyes. Our eyes are deficient. But if we hear authorized knowledge, bona fide knowledge, through our ear, perfect and complete. So again, we see the importance of associating with devotees, even if we go to the Dham. And then finally, what is there? Shri Mutira Shradaya Shevana, serving the deity. We also need the mercy of the devotees to serve the deity. Well, first of all, you need Diksha, you need Brahman initiation to serve the deity. So without the mercy of the devotee spiritual master, you can't really worship the deity. Of course, we can. You have in your homes. And, even one time Prabhupada told us in Detroit to make brass deities of Gaur Nitai and go door to door and sell them. You should clap because it's amazing. Like, what? Because Prabhupada said, Gaur Nitai are all merciful. We don't understand the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, how merciful he is. One time in one temple in America, one devotee was acting inappropriately and he was kicked out of the temple. He was doing some nonsense. So Prabhupada arrived the next day at the temple, and that devotee snuck in the temple and snuck up into Prabhupada's room, and he was sitting with Prabhupada. The temple president walked in and said, "What? Prabhupada, we kicked this devotee out of the temple. He was so nonsense." Prabhupada said, "No, you have to let him stay." And the temple president, "But Prabhupada." So Prabhupada said, "You have to understand, in the age of Kali, Lord Nityananda is very, very, very kind." Jai Nitai! Jai Gaur! Gauranga! Nityananda! But don't take advantage of their kindness, their mercy. Like that. So, serving the deity requires, for the pujaris, the Gayatri mantra. So you need the mercy of a devotee in order to be worship that particular part of the formula, 5 activities. We have to understand, also we have to go deep within our hearts and really understand how the deity is a person. Sometimes my students ask me, what's the most important rule or regulation in deity worship? And I always say, the most important rule in deity worship is to remember that the deity is a person. He's the supreme person. So if you're sitting in front of a person, you will conduct yourselves accordingly. The Brahmin boy who went with the older Brahmin to Vrindavan and had darshan of Shakshi Gopal, when he came back the second time to ask the deity to stand as his witness, he said to the deity, "My dear Lord, you are not a statue. You are directly the son of Maharaj Nanda." So we have to have that conviction. God has his original transcendental form. But according to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 27, he also expands into 4 other forms, which are identical with him. The first is the Vyuha expansions, Vasudeva, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, and Adiruddha. The second form that God expands into is the 24 expansions of Narayan, which preside over the Vaikuntha planets. The third, he expands as, and this is very near and dear to all of you, he expands as the Paramatma, the super soul in everyone's heart. And his fourth expansion is as the Archivigraha, the deity. These are four, none different than him. So the deity is a form of God that we can see. Can we see Krishna? Not yet. We don't see his original form. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati commented one time that the color of Krishna, we say bluish black like a monsoon cloud, that color doesn't exist in the material world. It exists in a perverted way as we see it, bluish black like a monsoon cloud. But the real tint of Krishna's form, that color only exists in the spiritual world. So we haven't seen that form of Krishna. We need spiritual eyes to see what is spiritual. But the deity, Krishna is so merciful, he appears in the form of so-called matter. It becomes spiritual by the fact that he's present there. When the Acharya asks the deity to come into the form, and that deity is not different than Krishna. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 239, Rupa Goswami describes the power of seeing Krishna. And this can also be understood in relationship to the deity, because the deity is Krishna. So if you go to the temple to see the deity, Rupa Goswami is giving you a warning. My dear friend, if you desire to enjoy with your friends and relatives, then do not look upon the form of the Lord called Govinda, Madan Mohan, wandering near Keshi Tirtha on the bank of the Jamuna River, with a slight smile on his lips, with a threefold bending form, eyes roving restlessly, flute placed to his red, tender bud lips, and shining gloriously with his peacock feather. Why? Because if you do, you'll fall out of love with this material world. Maya is very powerful. She's convinced us she's beautiful. So we've fallen out of love with Krishna. But if you go see the beautiful form, any of these forms I've mentioned, there are 5 with the original form of Krishna. You see any of those forms? You're just going to I'm not interested in material life anymore. I just want Krishna. So a warning is there. If you want to maintain your attachment to name, fame, glory, family, country, Jai Hind, whatever, God bless America, then don't go to Hyderabad and see Madan Mohan, the tallest deity in ISKCON. See Radhe. She's so tall. It's so nice. Prabhupada confirmed this in a lecture of Srimad Bhagavatam, August 15th, 1972. The idea is that if you once see Krishna, then you will forget all this nonsense material enjoyment. That is seeing Krishna. The Acharyas say that the deity has 4 transcendental qualities that inspire devotees when they're taking darshan of him. You may not know it, but Krishna, just like Maya has many tricks up her sleeves, so does Krishna. Like Prabhupada said one time, Lord Chaitanya's secret weapon is prasadam. You don't want to hear about Krishna. You don't want to chant Hare Krishna. Here's a nice rasgula. Oh, I'll take that. So the deity, We're speaking about deity worship here. The deity has 4 transcendental qualities that inspire his devotees when they're coming and taking darshan of him. Would you like to hear them? Sholabhya. Sholabhya means that he's visible to human eyes. We can actually see him and fix our attention on him, pray to him, and take shelter of him. The vague idea that we should surrender to Krishna becomes concrete when we come before the deity. Krishna, I want to surrender you. You come in front of the deity, you're overwhelmed. Whoa, I do want to surrender to you. You're so amazing. Sholabhya. Then there's Shoshilya. He gives everyone who approaches him a feeling of security and assurance. He assures his worshippers that he is accessible to them, and they need not feel they cannot serve him because he's so high and we're so low. He's there to give us shelter. Before the deity, even a fallen sinner can be sure that he or she can worship the Lord. He's there in his magnificence. He allows you to see him. He allows you to approach him. He allows you to pray to him. He doesn't go away. The third is svamitva. The deity encourages a deep confidence in our heart that he will surely fulfill our desires. You may have noticed that when you pray to the deity and connect with him, your anxieties and your worries go away, isn't it? This is due to the third of the deity's transcendental qualities. And then there's Vatsalya. The deity gives constant protection to his worshippers despite their personal faults. He protects us. Rakhi Krishna Mari Ke, Mari Krishna Rakhi Ke. It doesn't just apply to pure devotees. If Krishna wants to kill you, no one can save you. And if Krishna wants to save you, no one can kill you. Krishna also reaches out to new devotees. Sarva dharma parityajam mamekam saranam braja aham tam sarva papyabhyo moksa masuchaha. Just abandon all these other dharmas and surrender unto me, conditioned soul. I will protect you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. Is he preaching to pure devotees? No, he's saying, you have sinful reactions. If you surrender to me, I will protect you. My first mercy is I'll protect you from your own nonsense. Krishna reaches out to new devotees. Oh my Lord, I'm drowning in this fathomless whirlpool of material existence. Oh, you who give shelter to the shelterless, please, Rupa Goswami says, just this one time, Krishna, won't you extend your hand to save me? He's listening as the new Bhaktin is taking up her japa beads in her new sari with new tilak, her first day in the temple. She's chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Krishna's listening. Someone calls your name, you listen. Krishna's Abhigyana Swarat. He's he's everywhere. He's present everywhere. By his Abhigyana Swarat. He's all-knowing because he's present everywhere. He hears your chanting. Just like Prabhupada said one time, it was very nice. He said, when a new devotee comes to Krishna conscious movement, Srimati Radharani takes notice. And she says to Krishna, Krishna, there's this nice bhakta, this nice bhaktin down there. Please accept their service. She's so compassionate. Confirmed. He's a little embarrassed, but it was Krishna. So like that. Vatsalya. The deity gives constant protection to his worshippers despite their personal faults. During darshan, devotees can feel the deity's parental protection. Now that I'm with my Lord, everything will be all right because he will protect me. So the most important aspect of darshan is not necessarily that we see the deity, but that he's seeing us. We think, I'm going to see the deity. Hey, he's a person. He has all senses. He has transcendental senses. He's also looking deep within your heart, purifying you. So therefore, a sincere devotee will spend time with the deity. He won't just come for darshan, say, oh, I like the flute today, I like the color of the dress, it's all very nice, the garland like that, please bless my grandma, she's sick, and go away. No. He'll stand before the deity. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavacham vadagadisha kamayem hamatam manijamanisha bhavatad bhakti. I don't want anything material, just give me some service. Because by serving you, I can develop love for you. And my Guru Maharaj has told me that's the goal of life. So please be kind upon this aspiring devotee. Stand there and let Krishna's glance purify you. All of his senses are interchangeable. He can eat through his ears. You're offering the prasad or the bhoga, you're offering it through prayer. He's hearing the prayer. That's how he's enjoying what you're offering. He says in the Bible, let there be light. By speaking, he created light. So he's hearing you. His senses are awakened. They're absolute. So when you're in front of the deity, it's the most important person in your life. It's the most important moment in your life. Pray to him with all sincerity. Be focused. And know that he's listening. And if you ask for protection so that you can live a long life, to ensure your family members become Krishna conscious, your neighbors become Krishna conscious, your country becomes Krishna conscious, he may very well give you a long life for that. What is the value of a long life inexperienced in this world? Better one moment of full consciousness, because that begins one on the path of transcendence. That's a verse from the Bhagavatam. That's not the verse we want. Rakhe Krishna Mari Krishna Rakhe Ke. So I can serve my spiritual master's mission to my last breath. Now I was reading that during darshan there's a special substance called Sudakara. Sudakara means literally to purify. This Sudakara comes from the Lord's eyes. What comes from our eyes? What do you want to mention? I had an eye infection the other day. It was like, ugh. But Sudakara means literally to purify. This substance comes from the eyes of the Lord, and it enlivens and purifies those whom he looks upon. The Lord's glance awakens the devotee's desires to serve him. Just like Lord Shiva, there's that Radhakripa Kataksha prayer. How many of you know that prayer? Radhakripa Kataksha. Kavacha. Shiva is asking for the glance of what? Sri Radha. Please, just all I want, Shiva, is the glance of Srimati Radharani so I can become Radhadasi. So when we come before the deity, this Shuddhakara, this to purify, this comes from the Lord's eyes. So stay and get blessed. Don't run off to the office. Don't run home. Don't go and just wander around. Stay in the presence of the Lord. Talk about Sangha. That is the highest Sangha. And we should reciprocate. We should also recite prayers. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in a purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, he prays as follows. If you don't know what to pray, you can memorize the prayers of great devotees. You can be assured that Krishna is pleased with those prayers and they're in your general interest. So here's a nice prayer by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in front of the deity. Specifically, he says, "My dear Lord, I am so fortunate to be standing before you. Please accept my obeisances. You have a lotus navel, you wear a lotus garland, and you have lotus eyes and lotus feet. I am so fortunate. I can see you here because you give happiness to my eyes. When my eyes receive the sight of you, they become pleasantly cool." So therefore we're being trained to worship the deity by a devotee. We come to the conclusion now. Each of these 5 require, or 4 in particular, require the association of devotees. To worship the deity, we need the mercy of the devotee spiritual master. Shri Vigraha Radhana Nityanana Shringaratan Mandira Marjanada. You sing it every day. The spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. He also engages his disciples in such worship. They dress the deities in beautiful clothes and ornaments, cleanse their temple, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. So again, the deity is not different. He's so glorious. But to properly worship him, we need Srila Prabhupada. Because Srila Prabhupada taught us how to approach Krishna, what Krishna likes, what Krishna doesn't like, so we can serve the deity properly. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So altogether, these 5 most essential items of devotional service really require the association of devotees. Therefore, we're blessed to be in each other's association today. All by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, whom we're all serving. Therefore, again, I've chosen to finish today with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He wrote so many wonderful prayers. He writes, Visha Yavishta Mukarnam Chitta Shamskaram Ashradam Vishram Bhenu Guru Seva Vaishnavo Chishtabhojanam. It's one of my favorite verses. The medicinal herb to purify the minds of fools absorbed in sense pleasure is faithful service to Shri Guru, and the diet is remnants of the Vaishnavas. Once again, the medicinal herb to purify the minds of fools absorbed in sense pleasure is faithful service to Shri Guru, and one's diet should be the remnants of the Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Vaishnav Sangha ki, Dhamtara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki, O Premanande! Hare Krishna.